Chris Croc Show, News Talk 820 WVAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. Okay, 32-year-old woman that stabbed her boyfriend 100 times in a weed-induced frenzy, sentenced to just 100 hours community service. And the question is, do you think this woman should be charged with murder and go to jail as if she killed him in cold blood, or is she a victim as the judge ruled? This woman's not a victim. This woman's a killer, and she should go to jail as if she was completely sober because she chose to take the drug. She chose to do it. Doesn't matter if she's high or not. And this is ridiculous. And the father of her boyfriend that she killed is exactly right. The decedent's father. The family cried when the verdict was read by the judge, and he gave it a warning to everybody. He said, anybody who smokes marijuana in this days has a license to kill. She's an audiologist who originally is from Chicago, but lives in Thousand Oaks, California, found guilty of manslaughter for dramatic and heart-wrenching trial, says the Daily Mail. She is partially deaf. She described how she had taken one puff off a bong and didn't want to smoke anymore. See, it's not her fault. She felt pressured by her boyfriend, who was a regular marijuana smoker she'd been dating for a month. Within minutes of inhaling it, she, for the second time, she said she began hearing and seeing things that weren't there, believing she was dead, and that she had to stab him in order to bring herself back to life. I told you she had to stab him to bring herself back to life. You think, when you have psychosis, you think someone's trying to kill you, and you're trying to, if someone's trying to kill you, you're going to want to kill them first. That's how he describes it. In this case, she claims, I mean, how can you believe her? She was high as a kite. But her story is that he's dead, she's dead, and to bring herself back, she has to stab him. Whatever, psychosis. You killed him. You did it. Pin a ribbon on you as a murderer, you're going to jail. See ya. Don't let the door hit you in the butt. Some of the country's top forensic psychiatrists concluded this experience was, quote, 100% consistent with previous accounts of cannabis-induced psychosis. So why is this legal? Why did the Biden Justice Department just just file with the DEA what's the one in charge of Food and Drug, the FDA? Why do they file with the FDA saying they want to lower it from a Schedule 1, which is like cocaine and stuff, there's no use for it, and it's, it's dangerous, to Schedule 3, which is like Tylenol with codeine, which I have to take occasionally to this day for some injury I had from a crash several years ago. Not often, but a couple of months maybe, just when I need it. Really gets aggravated when I do yard work. Sometimes the cold also really triggers it. I'm like an old man now, I guess. Anyway, so Dr. Timothy Fong, he's a faculty leadership at the Cannabis Research Initiative at University of California, UCLA, and a clinical psychiatrist told the Daily Mail, we know pretty conclusively marijuana could lead to psychiatric illness. The judge said the task of sentencing is made all the more difficult by the knowledge that the decision will impact good people. He doesn't believe any incarceration is necessary. I wish to go back in time and prevent this tragedy from happening. She said, I wish I'd known more about the dangers of marijuana. Had I known, I never would have smoked it at that night at all. See, I'm a victim. Play me a violin. And that's it. She's a victim. All right. So she testified she asked him for a hit. He prepared it for her. She inhaled. She felt the burning and the coughing. 15 minutes later, when the effects failed to kick in, she took another hit. Something made this one more intense and more effed up, she said. Full word. He got up from his chair, turned the bong toward my face, rushed it to my face. I was pressuring me, hurry up. You got to inhale. Happened so fast I couldn't say no. Oh, the second time she was a victim. Went black. And she said, and then she doesn't remember anything from this point on. She says that she not only did she stab him 100 times and kill him, but she also she stabbed herself a few times at least, if not several times, and then her beloved dog she stabbed, and then herself in the neck. That was it. And she only stopped when police arrived at the scene and hit her 9 times with a baton. 9 times. A woman That people say, well, what do you mean the cop can't control him? This is what happens when you're high on drugs and you're having an episode of some sort. 9 times with a baton, they club her in the head or like a harp seal or in the body to get her to stop and to wake up or whatever. That's psychosis. And by the way, if you think you need to kill him to bring yourself back to life, then why are you stabbing your dog and yourself? Doesn't matter. She did it. A forensic psychiatrist, an expert witness, told the jury her behavior is well documented, in my opinion, of psychosis, the nature of it, the spontaneous things she was saying. It was consistent with the delusion and the command hallucinations and the voices she claimed she was hearing later on. By the way, how much you want to bet she may have looked this up to give herself an excuse? I don't know. Who knows? The doctor warned against widespread legalization of the psychoactive drug. It's yet another drug that now people think is safe because it's legal and now more are trying it. But it's more potent than it's ever been and it's problematic, he said. He's testified more than 80 cases, several involving marijuana. People say it's just marijuana. They try to make it seem insignificant. How that could possibly happen, he said. That doesn't fit with my professional experience, he said in the testimony. So there was a major review of hospitalizations in Canada, the Daily Mail says. And they found 40% increase in cannabis-induced psychosis and admissions linked to commercialization of the drug. There you go, guys. Everything I've said is true, and yet more evidence. And there you go. And now people are getting free from after their murder. No. Wow. Okay. This is a heck of a story here, too, by the way. I'm obese, and I paid for an extra plane seat to accommodate my size, but was shamed when I refused to give it up for a toddler, woman says. Here you have a 34-year-old woman who describes herself as fat, is in the middle of trying to lose weight, according to her, doesn't want to be one of those jerks whose flab is pouring over the seat into the next door seat. And even though she said that Southwest Airlines has a size of plus, a person of plus policy saying if there's a seat open on the plane, we're going to give you 2 seats. She said, I still didn't want to do that to my fellow man on the plane, my fellow passenger. So I bought 2 seats. This woman does exactly as I want people to do that are morbidly obese, and buys a second seat. And for that, a woman comes with her 18-month-old toddler and says, "Oh," and she gets the flight attendant to do her bidding too. "Oh, she wants to see if she can use your second seat for her 18-month-old. Can you give him," and I'll put the word in here, "a free seat since she's too cheap to buy her own kid a seat?" Excuse me. Can you give him a free seat? To which she said, "No! I'm obese. I paid for this seat. I paid for this seat." And then she says the woman with the toddler was told by the flight attendant that she had to put that 18-month-old on top of her lap. And this woman, the overweight woman, says that she was shamed and stared at. And so she asked about this on a social media feed about this. If she was wrong, am I the a-hole, was her post after she was doing this, flying across the country to see her brother for Christmas, and did this. What do you say? I'll give you more details in a second, but what do you say? Do you think the obese woman who paid for 2 seats should have given up one for a mom to sit next to her toddler? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. That's 800-288-WBAP. You literally do the right thing and buy yourself an extra seat. Pay double for your flight, which is what you should do when you're this overweight. She admits it. She did the right thing, and this jerk shamed her and was too cheap to buy her own seat for her toddler. Well, ma'am, isn't the age 12 months? Like once or a year you have to pay, I think. So she cheaped out, and how was she allowed to get away with it? Okay, it's Southwest. They're messed up, says producer Garrett. I guess this is what happens when you're too permissive. The person who does right is the one that may feel bad. So what do you think? Do you think the obese woman who paid for 2 seats should have given up one of the seats for a mom to sit next to her toddler? Shame on that mom. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. More details from her post coming up next and what people said about that on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. A woman who is obese and is really in the middle of trying to lose weight, but this woman's my hero because we all know it can be difficult to lose weight. But in the process, she's not well. First of all, she's not living this lie that the left says about being fat is healthy and great. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. You should be proud of it and let your flab hang out. It's just a lie, just like everything else from the left is a lie. But she's trying to lose the weight. She's working on it. But she also, when she flies, she buys 2 seats. She doesn't want to be that person. And I never want to be that guy, that jerk that you're like, this guy's a real jerk. And, hey, dude, come on, stop this or whatever. You know what I mean? She doesn't want to be that. So she bought the 2 seats, and that got her a real selfish, self-centered, I can't use the word I'm thinking in my head of who this woman is that said, well, I didn't pay for an 18-month-old. Would you double-check Southwest Airlines that do you have to pay for if they're over 1 year of age? I thought that was this kind of the standard rule for all airlines. I'm too cheap. My guess here is that she's cheating the system. I cheated the system. It was too cheap to buy a ticket so I could scam. But now I want you to pay for it. You paid for my seat. That woman must be a liberal. She's got to be a liberal. You pay for my seat, for my child. What is... Okay. Under 2, maybe carried free of charge. Okay, so she's married. So she... Here's the deal then. So she didn't have to buy a seat. Well, then how dare you ask a woman who is obese and paid for 2 seats to give up her second seat? Yeah, what a jerk. This is what you do. This is all I asked them to do. Every one of us says, get 2 seats. Don't put your flab on me. Get 2 seats. Shame on you for that. You got these ladies. You got these idiots that we talk about on the air. There's been 2 separate ones in the news over the past year saying, oh, I'm a victim. I'm obese, and I'm proud of it, and I shouldn't have to lose my weight, and I shouldn't have to pay for 2 seats. I have a right to 2 free seats. Remember that? And they said they should widen the planes. They said they should widen the entrances and the showers at hotels. That's what they want all this now. You're pathetic. How dare you? It's a choice. If you want to be like that, that's fine. I'm not here to shame you on that, but I am here to tell you you're pathetic and shame on you for pulling that crap and lying, saying you have a right to this crap and all of us should pay for your lifestyle. H-E double hockey sticks, no. Do you think the obese woman who paid for 2 seats should have given up one of her seats for a mom to sit next to her toddler when she was too cheap to pay for one? How dare her even asking? I mean, I guess you can ask, but after that she says, here's what she said. She said she told me, she didn't ask, she told me, this is interesting. Everything went smoothly. She's on her 2 seats until after she boarded, a mom sitting in the same row approached her and, quote, told her, didn't ask her, squeeze over into one seat so my 18-year-old can sit in the other. She told me. She didn't ask. I told her no, and that I paid for the seat for the extra space. She made a big fuss over it, which got the flight attendant's attention. She told the flight, she's trying to shame. My child, look at this child. Look at you. Look at you. You have no shame. Shame on you. Shouldn't have popped out a kid if you didn't want to have a seat for it. Shame on you. How dare you? All of y'all with kids, don't pull this crap with me. I'm not playing. I will not play. And especially because of stuff like this, I'm not going to give you a seat. I ain't doing this for any parent. You know why? Because it's your job. You're the parent. I'm not your kid's parent. You're the parent. Pay for the seat or shut up and sit down. Right? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Do you think the obese woman who paid for 2 seats should have given up one for a mom so she could sit next to her 18-month-old toddler? I mean, look, it's okay to ask. It's always okay to ask, but she told her to move, and then she made a big fuss. Flight attendant comes over. She told the flight attendant, I was stealing the seat. She told the flight attendant I was stealing the seat from her son. I showed my boarding passes, proved that I paid for the extra seat. Flight attendant asked me if I could try to squeeze it, and I said, no. I want the seat I paid for. I would go nuts. Holy crap. So she goes, am I the a-hole? Full word in a post. I feel a little bad because the boy would look hard to control. That's because her mom sucks at being a mom. She ain't a good mom. That's what it is. I feel bad because the boy looks so hard to control. Am I the a-hole? No, ma'am. You're a hero. You're my hero. Not only are you losing weight, but you pay for what you should. You pay for your second seat because you care about other people. This woman's a jerk. This woman's a selfish jerk. I wish you took video of it so we could all see it and put it out there, and she would have to self-flagellate and apologize to the public. Shame on this. This is what social media is for. Not forgetting the crazy lady on the plane. I told you. I'm telling you. Our Dallas hero, not her. That's just a freak show. That was just fun to watch. But this is what you should. This is where you got to shame somebody publicly. Unbelievable. Wicked generation we live in. Wicked and selfish generation we live in. Wow. That's horrible. Okay. Now, you have to hear this one next. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. A woman is enraged at a man, literally is the word in the news, who asked her out on a date. And then he asked her to split the bill with him. He asked her on a date. It was through one of these dating apps or Tinder or something like that. He asked her on a date. And then when they're going to pay, he says he wants her to pay half of it because, well, I didn't even have a bite of that app. You know what you do? You pay and you block the guy and you never talk to him again. And you do a social media post. This too is good for shaming. We're going to talk about that right now. Do you think the person who asks you out on a date should pay for the date? Do you think the person who asks you out on a date should pay for the date? And does it make a difference that does it make the difference to you if the man asks or the woman asks, should the man always pay? All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Also, I'm going to tell you what I think about what if a friend asks you to dinner or to lunch, who should pay, and what about a business associate? That's going to be interesting. I have theories and all. That's next on the Chris Crock Show. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. Okay, so I love this story. A single man, he went on TikTok and the Chinese malware app and complains. He met a girl on Tinder, and isn't that basically a hookup app? Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought. So that's his first mistake right there. Number two, he takes her to a date. He asks her to go on a date. By the way, he's gotten 6 million views on this. He took her out after talking for a few days on Tinder. She orders an appetizer. He didn't touch it and didn't want it. He asked her to split the bill. She was infuriated. This is on Fox News. She said, in her view, he had asked her out, and therefore it was his responsibility. The date ended with the girl slamming the car door and ignoring the man after they bickered in the car. In his view, the date itself went well. They were laughing, conversation flowed, and it wasn't awkward. He views women refusing to pay as entitled, since he believes women are all about feminism and equality until it comes to things they don't want to do, like paying for their half. It's so funny. There's definitely some truth to that. And his video caption says, I don't even know her and she wanted to split the bill, ? after he says, ordered an appetizer I didn't want. This is what it's like dating in Miami. Shaking my head. I gotta move somewhere else. These girls are entitled. The girl asked him, why are we splitting the bill? Well, it's our first date, so I thought we should maybe. I can't believe you made us split the bill, she said when they got to the car. I mean, you ordered an appetizer that I didn't even touch, he said. Why do you think I should? The girl says, okay, but you asked me out. All right, he says, I'll just take you home. And then she smacked him for saying, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. You know what he meant? He meant, I'll take you home as in drop you off. And he said, see you. She ignored him. He responded, hello. She said, bye. And then slammed the door, apparently. I'm not going to share all the comments. He actually, after he got attacked a lot, he said that his point of view is that women aren't acting like women anymore, so why should men have to embrace the traditional gender roles and assign to them? Let me tell you why they aren't acting like women, because you ain't treating them like a woman. That's what I say to this. You know what? How do you treat a woman on a date? You open a door for her, you pull out a seat for her, chair for her, and you open the car door for her and the door into the restaurant on the way out, and you pay her a damn tab, excuse me. That's what you do. You pay it. I have a rule. My rule is this. If I ask you out on a date, which I haven't been asking anybody on a date for, let me think, we've been married for 23 or 24 in June, and then we were exclusive for, I don't even know, man, a long time before that. So it's been like a long, long time. But when I did never even dream of splitting it with them. And you can say, well, times are different now, and I'll still say, no, they're not. A gentleman does that. Now, wait, here's how I do it. Ready? Whether it's a date or if I'll give you an example. There are colleagues here that I invite to lunch. For example, a new colleague, particularly the salespeople. If I see there's a new salesperson, I'll offer to take them out to lunch. And I pay for it because I invited them. I mean, how dare I invite them on that? And I don't have to. I'm not there. They don't. There's no. It's a colleague. If I'm inviting you, I'm going to pay for it. So I always do that. And then, so if it's a professional relationship and I do the invite, I'm paying for it. If they do, I expect them to pay for it, but I will offer to pay for my half. And if they do say, yeah, I'll take your payment, I would just do it and I won't be upset. I might think in my head, I wish they helped, wish they paid for it because I'm like, you invited me, but I wouldn't be mad about it. I would just be like, they should have paid for it. But I ain't going to say anything to them. If it is a friend, I'm really fortunate to have a couple of dear friends. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've met them all to church at the best because we have the same values. And I never expect them to pay for me, or I don't expect to pay for them, and we don't. We always split it. We always have it. Anybody I go to from there that I'm good friends with, it's just we just do. I'm not paying for them, and they're not paying for me. Now, here's another rule. When I invite somebody out for business lunch or whatever, I pay it because I invited them. If they say no, I got it, I will offer a second time gently. You know what I mean? I won't be this jerk insisting, but I will offer a second time. And if I said, no, please let me get it. And if they go, no, I got it, then I'm done. You always, a great, dear Jewish friend and mentor of mine, and I say he's Jewish because it's important to me, because as a young Catholic boy growing up, Polak, he was a man that was old enough to be my dad. And so, he really taught me a lot, and he really mentored me. He taught me a lot of values. To this day, I won't forget. I love that man dearly, and we're still kind of in touch. He's older, definitely older now, but he said, Chris, when you go and because I would deliver and install high-end audio video stuff at this high-end audio video place, and he says, Chris, when you deliver it and they want to tip you, take it. And I said, but I'd like to say, oh, no, you don't have to do that. He goes, ask them once. If they say it again, do not say it again after that. Don't say no after that. Take it, because you may be insulting them. You will insult them if you say a second time no. They want to bless you. They want to give you something. Let them do it. Great advice. So offer once to, no, I can do it. And after that, you say, okay, thank you. And you just say thank you. And my gosh, the people I was doing stuff for had lots of money and would give me, a nice tip. I was like, inside, I was like, oh, heck yeah. I was like, oh, you don't have to do that. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. Okay, but as far as asking a girl out, a woman out, if you're dating her, you pay it all. If she offers to pay for it, you say, nah, I got it. If she says a second time, then you do it. That also might mean she doesn't want to date you anymore. Right? All right, so what do you think? Do you think the person who asks you out on a date should pay for the date? By the way, I make my wife pay all the time. Of course, we share the same bank account. Do you think and my wife always does pay because I let her do the tipping. She's generous, and I'm like, you do it. She happily does that. I do the bills, she does the tipping. Do you think the person who asks you out on a date should pay for the date? And does it make a difference to you if the man asks or the woman asks? Should the man always pay? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. What about a friend who asks or a business associate? So that's my thing, y'all. You ask, pay for it, unless you're friends. You have a friendship. After getting hit with all the criticism, the guy shared more about his side of the story. Women aren't acting like women anymore. Why should men embrace them? Because they're not, traditional gender roles. Why should we embrace the traditional gender role? Because now women are more feminist now. The girls I've dated don't want to take care of kids, cook for their husbands, and aren't nurturing. Therefore, we shouldn't be expected to act like it's 1950s. You sound like a man who's a poor excuse for a man who's busy, whose time is spent making up excuses on why he doesn't do things. You're a loser. That's what I think. I think you're a loser. I think you're a man-child, and you're not even a man, and you're pathetic. And the fact that you put this out there for everybody and you derided this woman for this shows me you're a freaking real man-child. You're an emotional infant. You're a twit, and you're a loser. That's what it tells me. Women are only feminists until it comes to certain things they don't want to do, he said in an interview with Fox News Digital. Everybody's a feminist until it's time to split the bill. What a loser. Whatever. This guy's a real jerk. I wouldn't want to work with this guy, go to lunch with this guy, or be around this guy because I think he's an idiot. He's a man-child. This guy that when you work with and messes things up, he blames other people. He spends his time making up excuses. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Hey, coming up next, why Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, big fraud is on the rise. If you use this, you might want to think twice. I shared this story with my wife. My mechanic shared this story with me, and I'm going to share it with you, too. It's pretty amazing what's going on. You need to hear this. Coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. All right, Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. What a wonderful, wonderful time we are having tonight. 2 taps. And let me tell you, my wife does a lot of stuff on Zelle and Venmo. I don't know if she does Cash App, but because she buys and sells stuff. And here's the deal. My mechanic showed me this, and he showed me an article from CNBC, which is definitely mainstream as far as something about a scam. You know what I mean? That's authoritative enough for me right there. But then also a radio guy who's a consumer guy that I worked with in Atlanta when I did my show there. He and I were at the same station. When Herman Cain, 999, the presidential candidate, when he took my job, that was several years before he ran for president. And I lost my job. My friend, that guy, took me out, Clark Howard. He took me out to breakfast and stuff. He's a wonderful guy, sweetheart. Anyways, he did a whole thing on this saying, don't use Venmo and Zelle because this could happen. You can get scammed. And he said too, Basically, though, what you can do is have a separate account that's attached to nothing else. That way they can't get the other one, so whatever's in that account that you use can't be drained. Or if it is, it's a low amount. So that's what I'll have to talk to my wife about, because here it is. It was in the Daily Mail today. 2 taps and somebody's life savings could be gone. Venmo, Zelle, Cash App is skyrocketing. Fraud is skyrocketing. Alan Bragg, I know he's a joke, but he's the New York City DA because he's getting tons of people getting scammed on it. But it's happening apparently all over the country, and this is like the second or third time I've heard about this, so it's true. By the way, I'm going to throw out a question for you before I give you more details. Have you ever been scammed through Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, or any online scams? And how about people you know, your friends or your loved ones? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I can say right now my wife's dad was scammed out of $20,000 by one of these scammers that targets the elderly, and unfortunately he's still somehow thinks that he owes the money. So we contacted an attorney, and they advised us, so we're working on that literally right now. My wife is. And basically they're telling him to, the attorney says, first thing she needs to do is get authorization to be on the card with him. And she's still having to convince him that he was totally ripped off. She's like, this place is a scam. I've done all the work. So let me get access to your card so I can go and get work with Amex to get it reversed. And if that doesn't happen, since he's 82 and doesn't have a lot of money, he said at that point, actually, bankruptcy is not an option. It's too expensive. He's like, don't do it. Just literally stop paying it. I'm like, wow. Well, he's 82. He's telling my beautiful wife that he might not be around next year. She's like, I got to visit him. I'm like, yes, go ahead. So she'll be visiting soon, and she's going to take care of all this stuff too. But he's in Florida, so we got to talk to an attorney there and stuff. But I'm telling you, we're all going through this with our elderly parents sooner or later. So, have you ever been scammed through Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, or any other online scam? And how about other people you know, your friends or your loved ones? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. My wife can, 9 times out of 10, identify scammers and not even engage them. That are always trying to get her to, do a deal with her. And she's like, nah, this person's like, just ignore him. One time she almost did, and I'm like, no, that's no. So she stopped before it fully happened. But here's the story. They're leaving customers vulnerable to theft if they use Venmo, Zelle, or Cash App. How? The DA in Manhattan, Bragg, who's, hates Trump stuff, but he says it's draining bank accounts from significant sums of money. Growing number of incidents in New York City area. It's sweeping across the United States. That's how I knew about this before. No longer is the smartphone itself lucrative target. Itself the most lucrative target for scammers from robbers. It's the financial apps contained within. Thousands or even tens of thousands can be drained from financial accounts in a matter of seconds with just a few taps. These crimes involve unauthorized user gaining access to unlocked devices and then draining bank accounts in significant sums of money. Oh, they get the device, making purchases with mobile financial applications using financial information from the applications to open new accounts. Holy crap. And the most... what happens is they can steal and trick their way into victims' locked phones. In some cases, they can even turn violent. Offenders have violently assaulted or drugged victims. Either compelled them to provide a password or a device, use a biometric ID to open their phone before transferring the money. Oh my gosh, once the person's incapacitated. Well, the bank better give all the money back to, because that person's a victim of a violent crime. Using peer-to-peer payment services, it's grown exponentially over the past 5 years, nearing almost $1 trillion in payments. Wow. So... yeah, and you have no option to cancel the transactions even moments after it's happened. Oof. So it's stretched from L.A. over to Orlando. Somebody with Venmo at knife point in Orlando had thousands drained from her Venmo after a child asked to use her phone. Oh, my gosh. Don't let anybody use your phone, y'all. She literally said she let a child use her phone and he drained all of her account on Venmo. It's been happening in West Virginia, Louisiana, Illinois, Kansas, Tennessee, Virginia. Holy crap. Apple's now introducing a new feature designed to stop thieves from accessing smartphones with passcodes. Yeah, because here's what I was going to tell you. If you're at a bar or a restaurant, don't use your passcode to open up your Apple phone or your iPhone or whatever the phone is, because if you do and somebody, they're looking for it, when they see it, they're going to steal your phone from your purse or whatever, or from the table when you leave it down. That was one of the things that they're doing. I heard about. We talked about that before, too. Have you ever been scammed like this? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227.